For me, I get a lot of comments like, well, one person can't change it. It has to be the corporations that change their behaviors. And for me, my reply is always like, one person can influence a big change. So I think that my platform is being able to change one person to change another person. Like it's the whole effect, like the domino effect.
Welcome to Out of Frame, a Nerdy Filmmaker podcast, where I sit down with actors and creators from across the entertainment industry discussing the successes and struggles within their stories. My name is Julian Stamboulieh, aka the Nerdy Filmmaker, and today we are joined by Christine LAN, an actor and content creator who aims to inspire people around the world through DIY and sustainability videos on her social media channels, Eco-Amical. Okay, sip coffee.
Tea.
What tea are you drinking?
Green tea with brown rice.
Oh!
It's more smoky.
I love brown rice green tea. I think I've only had it a couple times, but it's so tasty.
Oh, I have to bring you some next time. I have a whole bag.
Oh my God. Christine, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm pretty nervous and excited.
I would love to start off talking about your past. Well, were you born in Montreal?
No.
Where were you born?
I was born in Ontario.
Okay.
So my parents are from Mauritius. So they settled in Montreal. They got married. And then when I was about 3 years old, they moved to Ontario. Oh, no, I was born in Ontario. When I was about 3 years old, I came to Montreal. So I'm all mixed up now.
Oh, where am I from? I don't know. You screwed me up.
A bit everywhere. But yeah, so I was born in Ontario. When I was about 3 years old, they came to Montreal. And then, I went to school over here and wanted to be an actor when I was about 11 years old.
Oh, wow. So you already knew that early you wanted to go into acting.
Yes.
Wow. And so you came when you were 3, but did you learn French right when you came here?
No, I actually went to an English school.
Oh.
So we didn't speak French, but my parents, because they're from Mauritius, they speak more French generally. So my French is not very good because I was brought up speaking English.
Okay.
But I do know French.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is French the national language there?
Yes. They speak more of a broken French, like a Creole.
Okay, great.
So it's a bit, I guess it's like the Haitians kind of Creole.
So you already had that in your family, even though you weren't learning it in school yet.
Yes.
It was already there. Great. Throughout high school, were there any other things that you were dreaming about other than acting?
Yes, I was actually a very competitive figure skater.
Really?
So I would skate, I think about 20 to 30 hours a week. So I was exempt from gym and I would compete and I would skate a lot. And skating was something I loved. Like I would watch figure skating. I would perform my whole shows. And I think that's where my love from acting came from because skating was so technical. Like if you fall, everyone knows you made a mistake.
Right.
Whereas acting, you could mess up your line and kind of improvise to get back on track. That's why I liked acting so much. But yes, I grew up as a competitive figure skater. I didn't have too many friends skating too. It was more of like a solitary activity. So that's why I think that I like to be alone a lot because I'm used to being able to skate by myself and do everything by myself.
Got it.
Yeah.
If you want, I can turn around and do the interview the other way if you want to be alone. It's okay.
I have big energy, but I'm actually more of I wouldn't say I'm an introvert, but I'm not shy, but I like my alone time a lot.
Right. First off, what's a day of training look like for figure skating?
A day of training was waking up every day around 5 o'clock and skating till about 8:30, and then taking the bus to go to school for 9:30. So that was my day. And then after school, it was going directly to the arena till about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. And then I would do my homework. So I didn't sleep a lot in high school.
You trained both morning and afternoon?
Yeah.
And that was 5 days a week?
5 to 6 days a week.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was a lot. And I was also coaching figure skating. So on Saturday and Sunday, mostly Saturday, I would be in the arena the whole day. Because between skating, I would coach the little kids. So that was my world. And I loved figure skating so much that I wanted to quit school to just skate. But my mom was very conflicted of yes, she likes to skate so much and she's good at it too, but she also has to go to school.
Do we though? I don't know. And so you were competing as well. Who were you representing in these competitions? Where were these competitions being held?
They were mostly held in Quebec, like different parts of small towns in Quebec. I was representing my city. I wouldn't say I was like the top, but I was good enough to be able to compete.
And how was teaching kids? That must have been fun.
I love kids so much. It was really cute being able to be somebody that they looked up to and like tying their skates. And I actually used a lot of creative acting kind of ideals to teach them. So I'm like, okay, well, you can't touch the boards because it's fire. And then you have to jump across the bridge. Like it was so...
You're playing floor is lava with the skating. That's great.
Yeah, so I played a lot of games with them. Like I gave them a marker and they had to draw something. And I'm like, okay, you have to erase it with your skate so you can... So I used a lot of creative things and I love to teach kids a lot.
Oh, that's awesome. And so when did you... I'm assuming you still at least skate occasionally for fun once in a while, but at what point did you stop pursuing that as a potential future?
I stopped skating around the age that I started Dawson in theater, so around 20 years old, because I couldn't do both.
Got it.
Like you can't skate 20, 30 hours a week and go to school, and I couldn't excel both, so I stopped skating to be able to do theater at that point.
And so Dawson Theater, the Dome.
Yes.
So many talented actors have come out of that that CEGEP. So what was that experience like?
I liked it a lot. I think we were about 15 or 20 people in my grade, and I was the only Asian like person in the class. Man. So I played the black characters. I played Tristan Lala's sister. Because I was the only minority. So I think they didn't know how to place me. We don't look at all
clearly related.
But it was so funny to be able to play his sister. I was every minority. And because I was so small, I played guy parts a lot. So I played everything that I would never play in casting. I played a 85-year-old lady. I played this 40-year-old man.
So in retrospect, do you think that playing that range was at all beneficial, or was it hurtful towards your training?
I don't think it was beneficial, but it was really fun because I had to play a guy, and I think one play I drew a big mustache, like half my face, and I didn't tell the director, and I went on the stage and he was laughing so much. It was so funny. But it was so fun to be able to experiment and play parts that I would never get to play. And I guess that was fun in a way because I do voice acting now. So it was fun. Like I have that capacity to dig deep into characters that I would not play visually.
Right. Did it bother you at all, the kind of clear not knowing of how to place you?
Because when I started theater, there were not too many minorities that were doing theater. And I felt that Asians at the time were really sexualized. So when I was in school, I remember a teacher telling me, maybe you should dress more sexy to be able to get more parts. And for me, it was like, well, this is the way I am. Do I have to be sexy to be able to work? So for the longest time, it was a big crutch for me because I thought that, I had to look like a model when clearly I'm, 5 feet and I can't be anything that I am now. So I think as I got older, I started to accept and really appreciate who I am. Yeah. And back then, I think that was really a crutch or a disability for me to be told, like, you have to look like this or you have to look like this actress. Yeah.
And I think, I'm not a woman, but after hearing all of the stories and everything that comes out, it's like there is such a constant, hopefully less so now, but the old school thing about, you have to be sexy, sexualized, otherwise you're not going to get any roles, you're not going to get any opportunities. So I feel like probably all women in acting face that, but I think it probably adds an extra layer for you, coming back from what you're saying, that Asian women are sexualized, and really anything from, if you even look back at the old indigenous photographs when people colonize North America.
Yes.
Like anything that is considered different has this like exotic label to it, which is just kind of gross.
And it was really hard because not only I was told this in school, but my parents are really strict Asians and they didn't want me to act. Okay. So it was like, all we see in TV are like sexualized Asians and my daughter wants to be an actress. So it's really hard for me, like both at home and at school, to be able to be myself. I thought it was really hard to find who I really was and explore who I really was because that I didn't feel accepted in both spaces.
Mm-hmm. When you decided to go into Dawson, was that a difficult thing was there pushback from your family?
Yes. Yeah, they didn't want, I was an actor member before.
Oh.
Yeah, so I had some little modeling agent that I begged my mom to be a part of, and I got my first actor credit doing a movie called The Art of War with Wesley Snipes. And so I was actor before going to college, and I wanted to study theater. I didn't just want to be like, oh, it's a fluke, she got this part. And I guess my mom was like, okay, let her do that, but we will still discourage her.
Yes. So they were respectful of it,
yes.
even if they didn't agree.
It's like, why don't you consider going to university after? It was always the same thing. But I think I was really lucky to be able to study what I wanted to do. I mean, they didn't tell me that I can't do it. It was more like, you're going to have a tough time.
By the way, do you have siblings?
Yes, I do. I have an older sister and a younger sister.
And what fields are they in?
The big sister, I think she did business management.
Okay.
And my little sister, because she's younger than me, she studied photography.
Hey.
Yeah, she studied photography, but now she's doing pastry. She's a pastry chef. But I think that I paved the way.
I mean, seriously. Seriously. But clearly that sister's taken her own Instagram photos for her bakery, right?
Probably.
Good. So you mentioned the art of war.
Yes.
That was your first time on set. What was that experience like? Did you have a line in it?
Yes. I was actually like an underage prostitute. It was so sexualized at the time, like to be an Asian, because I looked really young. Yeah, I looked really young for my age. I was always playing like underage people. And the experience was something very different because it was a huge Hollywood movie set. So there was like Wesley Snipes and all these like, I think actors from Vancouver and LA that I kept in touch with, and a lot of Asian actors on that set. So it was really an experience to be able to be on the set there. It was fun.
Good. Cool bean. You come out of Dawson, and so what are the next few years like for you as a performer?
It was really hard. I would only audition a few times a year, but only for Asian specific parts. Like she does Kung Fu and she speaks Cantonese or Mandarin. And because my parents are from Mauritius, we don't speak any Asian language. So I'm always putting on an accent. So it was like, when can I ever be myself? Like, who am I anyway? So I felt like a huge imposter to like learn a few kicks because I had to be the, Mulan. So it was really difficult. It was also the time where I got married.
Really?
I got married really young. I got married a year after I finished Dawson.
Oh,
yes. So
congratulations.
Thank you. I was dating my husband right in the first year of Dawson.
Did you meet him there?
No. He is a software engineer. Okay. So he was at Concordia.
Got it.
But we got married a year after I graduated. And it was really stressful with like the marriage and having the family. Like my parents at first didn't approve of him. So it was really difficult it just felt like everything I did wasn't something anyone wanted.
Yeah. Is he from Quebec? Is that?
No, he's Vietnamese.
Okay.
But I guess having a family that's from Mauritius, that's Chinese, they really wanted me to marry a Mauritian Chinese, which is like, what are the chances?
They don't even have that filter on Tinder, man. Like, what are you supposed to do?
So it was really difficult to be able to please everyone. And I think at that age, you just want everyone to be happy. So we got married, and it was a little difficult because at first, the first couple of years, my parents didn't talk to me. So it was a hard time. And then I moved to Toronto to do acting.
Oh my
You're
God, okay,
learning
well,
so much about me.
Okay, let's skip. You're skipping for me. That's great.
Yes.
So how long after Dawson did you move to Toronto?
I graduated from Dawson. I got married the next year. And then I think it was a few months later, I moved to Toronto.
Wow.
By myself without my husband.
What?
Because he didn't want to move to Toronto because he had a steady job in Montreal and was kind of like to move for your acting, you may not work. So we did the long distance for over 6 months. Yeah.
Okay, so 2 questions. One, did you know that you were going to move to Toronto before you married him?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't like
No. I had talked a lot about it before.
Okay.
So he
and so you say 6 months. Is that you came back or he joined you there?
I came back. Okay. I came back because I thought it was really difficult. Not only because I had not that much experience. I had a good agent. I was represented by AMI in Toronto. I think she took care of all the Degrassi kids at the time. And she was really, really nice. I did a lot of auditions, but I thought it was difficult because I didn't, even though as much as I'm an introvert, I didn't have a family base or like friends that I could go to.
Yeah.
And that was really difficult.
Yeah.
So that was difficult. And then I came back to Montreal and I got pregnant. So then it was like, okay, maybe I'm not meant to be an actress. I'm going to have kids.
Wow. Okay, so you come back, you get pregnant. Is that even the right way to say get pregnant? That seems very like cold, doesn't it? You got pregnant.
I got pregnant. How do you say it?
I don't know.
Had a baby in my stomach.
Yeah, a baby appeared.
Yes, a baby appeared. Immaculate. Yeah, so I was pregnant and it was like a new phase in my life.
Okay.
So I didn't really act at the time. I still had my Montreal agent and I think I took 4 years off of acting.
Okay.
And I had 2 kids during that time.
All right.
And I was like, maybe it's too hard to get back into acting. I have to redo my demo. People don't remember me. And when I came back into acting, I got my first part, what is it called? It was Garm Wars. It was a month-long contract. So it was like, oh, wow. I had 2 small kids and I had to be on set every day for a month.
What is Garm Wars?
It's kind of like Star Wars, but a Garm War.
What is a Garm?
You'll have to look at the picture, but I played a druid and the costume is kind of like Star Wars.
Oh, man.
It was a really fun production. Everything was shot on green screen. And I had this armor that was like, it looked like metal, but it was pretty light. But every day I was in this full suit. So that was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
My life is...
Oh, man. But you know what's it's like your life is just one thing after another. That's the thing. There doesn't really seem to be very much downtime for you. Is that a reoccurring theme even to this day?
Yes.
Okay.
One after the other.
Living on the edge, Christine, living on the edge.
I can't really have goals. Like people always tell me, what is your goal for next year? And I'm thinking, like, I didn't even know what I was doing last year, like what I would be doing today. It's hard to plan.
Huh. So you took the 4 years off to have babies. Would you like to share their names with us?
Yes, Alex Xavier and Maximilian.
Hi. And during that downtime, was it difficult to be out of the acting game? Like, was that something that was with you the whole time? And
Yes.
were you missing that, or were you so focused on and so busy, you just didn't even have time to think about it?
I thought about acting a lot. And I guess being a mom, you could be really secluded and not feel like you're interacting with adults. So I often felt like it would be good to go to an audition, to be able to see people and to interact with people. And I mean, I've done a few jobs when they were young. And I remember my son telling me and watching a commercial of me on TV and telling me, Mommy, I want to go in the TV like you. So it's really precious to see them grow. And I think that having them made me a better actor and a better person.
What were some of the most memorable times that you spent on set?
Oh my God, I've played an elf so many times. So I like playing an elf. I actually It's like an app called Portable North Pole. Every year, parents can pay to have this app, and Santa will talk to their kid. So I get to play an elf almost every year. That's a lot of fun. I remember the first elf thing I did. It's called, what was it called? It was a Hallmark movie. North Pole, open for Christmas. That's it. North Pole, open for Christmas. And I remember going in for the costume fitting, and I guess I wear pigtails all the time. And the costume lady's like, "Oh, you're dressed like an elf today. Did you do that on purpose?" And I'm like, "No, this is how I dress." And then I wore she chose clothing for me, and I'm like, "This is so comfy. This is like what I wear all the time."
This is my pajamas.
So I think the ones that are most like me, the characters that I play, is probably the elf.
And okay, so something that I find very interesting about your how you've described the parts and all the things that you've done so far is that I find that a lot of actors, myself included, always kind of are jonesing to do the roles that we are not typically cast as or would not be thought of as. You know, I would love to play a villain, but like, come on,
No.
I'm not gonna play a villain. Look at this. So, but you going in and getting these elf roles, but you as a person are such, I'm not saying you're an elf, but you're just this bundle of positive energy and fun, and you're playful. And that matches so well with that kind of character type. And yet you're saying that you loved that experience so much. So do you find that, the kind of racism aside, in terms of these other roles, are those really in line with the kinds of roles that you want to be doing?
I really like kids shows. I think it stems back from when I was teaching figure skating and having kids and being able to exude that much excitement and emotion into playing a character is something I love to do. So those are the kind of parts I like a lot.
Got it. Do you have no interest in playing
A villain?
a villain?
Voice. I think in voice, I would like to play the villain.
Well, then let's switch over to voice. You've done a lot of voice work.
Yes, I always wanted to do voice, and I didn't know how to get into it. I think that because being Asian, I was a bit scared to put myself out there. But my first voice job was for those Canadian Heritage commercials. So I did the narrator voice of the girl talking about her experience escaping Vietnam.
My mother said we had to leave home. The communists were going to take my father away.
Tàu sắp bị chìm. Mình phải nhảy rồi.
If my parents were afraid, they didn't show us. But we would never forget our escape from Vietnam.
That was my first job. And then I do dubbing. And what else did I do? Commercial for IGA.
Right. In fact, in dubbing, we worked on a series together.
Yes, we did.
Vincenzo. That was
fun.
so much fun.
My character was so much like me.
Yes. Yes, 100%.
Because we don't know what the character is when we come in. And I thought that my character would probably be in one episode. She had such a small part in the first few episodes. And they kept on calling me back like every week. And the more the character evolved, I'm like, this is so me.
It's actually, I had the exact same experience because when you go in for dubbing, you never really know how long you're going to be on the project. And so I've gone in before, I'd gone in to do Alice in Borderland. And I was the best friend of the main character. I'm like, oh, snap. I'm in this for the long haul. Spoiler, my head explodes in the third episode. So I was like, oh, come on. But then I go in for Vincenzo, and I'm playing a role, and I thought it was like a day player. And he ended up being the main villain of the show. So it was the most
He was it was a good actor to play that part too. Did you see the show?
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, I watched all of it in the original language.
Yeah, me too.
And then I watched it all again with the dub.
It was funny. It was so weird because it's a bit comedy, a bit all over the place.
Korean dramas are like,
is this
they
funny?
don't believe in genre. They just mix it all up together.
It was so funny.
Yeah. Yeah, so dubbing, and that's still an ongoing thing.
Yes.
You probably still get called in for a lot of that because Montreal is a huge dubbing city, one of the top in the world. But then you also ventured into video game work.
Yes, I have a video game that just came out called Deceive Inc.
Deceive Inc.
And that character is just like me too. So when I read the description, it was saying like this 22-year-old spunky girl with so much energy. She's small, but she has such big energy, but like don't be deceived by her looks.
Oh my.
I was like, oh, that part is me. So I went all out in the audition, and then I had a call back, and then I booked the part.
That's great. How long was the recording?
Oh, that was just a one day they shot everything. I think it was
Really?
like 300 lines.
Holy moly.
So we shot that all in 4 hours.
Jeez.
But it was so funny. My lines were like, oh, you shot me, butt face. It was like, it was so funny.
Oh my God.
But those kind of things are things I like. Like she's so strong, but like also so funny.
I don't feel like you're someone who swears a lot.
No.
So how was butt face for you? Was that hard?
Yes, it was.
It was. You shot me.
Butt face.
Your kids sitting there giggling, playing the game. Have they played the game?
No, they don't.
Oh, come on.
I think they refuse. They're like, my mom is in this? No thanks.
God.
When they were younger, they were so much more enthusiastic to see me as an elf. And now
Yeah.
they're like, oh, my mom. She's everywhere. We hear her at home so much. We're not going to hear her again.
Man. Do you find, I want to ask about, if I may, diversity in Montreal in
Yes.
terms of the performance side? Because I also know you work on French sets as well.
Yes, I
You're
do.
a member of UDA
Yes.
as well. So I guess you can answer this for either one of the landscapes. But one, what do you think that the pool here is like in that, do you often find yourself going in for auditions and finding kind of the same people that you're up against? And then do you find that kind of going back to with the old viewpoint of how to properly cast people, do you think that that's evolving and that's getting a little bit better?
Because I've been in the industry for a long time, it's gotten a lot better.
Okay.
So I used to go into auditions and they didn't know if they wanted a female or a male Asian or like 20 or 80. Like
Right.
everyone would be there. So I think that things have evolved because that when I go to auditions, you'll see all different types of ethnicity. Like sometimes they want to have an ethnic, but they're not sure which one. So it's gotten better in that sense.
Got it. Art of War was your first project, though I don't think the role was necessarily something that you
No.
felt very passionate about or
No.
connected to. I don't know whether or not that time on set was good, but have you had times on set that have been damaging to you, that's been such a negative experience that it's affected you?
I don't want to say which production, but I've worked with a female director and I'm all for like female directors, but I had one that she would yell at everyone. And I
boy.
think that it also had to stem from like, I'm a female and I want to be respected. So I felt like I've never been yelled at, like, get up, we're going to shoot. Like it was really damaging as an actor. And to be yelling at everybody on the set, not just the actors, but the crew members, that it just created a divide with everyone and nobody wanted to be there. So I was there for, I think, about 2 weeks and it was like a bad situation. In fact, I told my agent, it's a series that recurred every year. And I told my agent that if she's directing it next year, I'm not doing it. So the next year she wasn't there. So thankfully... Yeah, so I think it's really important as a director to have that connection with actors and understand, like we're human too, not to abuse us and not to abuse everyone just because you're the director and you should be in charge.
You've been acting for a very long time, but I think at this point, probably when people recognize you, it's not necessarily for your acting.
No.
It is for your content creation.
Yes.
You have a TikTok, you have an Instagram. I believe you have other socials,
Yes.
but those are the two that I think are really running the strongest.
Yes.
And so what inspired you to start creating content online? And were you already sure right off the bat that you wanted to be about eco-friendly solutions and green and...
My eco-friendly journey actually started in high school.
Okay.
I was part of the environmental club. I think we were like 4 people in the environmental club. And my sister is 7 years older than me, and I used to wear all her hand-me-downs. So I would like upcycle them and like paint them to look like my own. So I think what I was doing was always something good for the planet without knowing. And I've always wanted to reduce waste. I've made my own cosmetics and makeup since I was like 20 years old. So it was something that I always did. And I started to document it on Instagram through photos. And people were like, you should do a YouTube video. You should do a video. And I was so nervous. I'm like, nah, I'm not going to do a video. I shot a video, and for 2 years, I didn't release it. I was just so critical. Like, this is not perfect. Like, I don't have a good camera.
What was the video about?
It was just an introduction to the channel. It's never been released.
Oh,
it's never
been I was going to source it.
No, it's never been released. But yeah, so then I did that. And then I became friends with a creator called Epic Gardening on Instagram. He makes a living off his social media. And we were talking about social media, and he's like, yeah, you really should do this. It's, it's fun to do. And I was making my own makeup, and I think I did a video on TikTok that blew up, like 500,000 views, one of the first videos I did on TikTok. And I was like, oh my God, I have like 10,000 followers following me. I have to do this every day. Like, I can't just leave them hanging. Okay. So I started to post every day, but I had no idea that you could actually make a living, like a good living off social media. And I didn't know it was a career. Like, it could be a career. So I think it's a new thing. I think all the younger generations, they want to be YouTubers or content creators. Yeah. But growing up, we didn't have that. So we didn't have somebody to look up to like that.
That's so great. And I love that you even said, so you got 10,000 people and you can't leave them hanging. Because that means that your intention for this is entirely generous and has no vanity attached to it, because you're not looking at this and saying, oh, I could monetize this or whatever. It's you're thinking about them.
Yes. So it was always teaching them. My niche kind of switched. At the beginning, it was really focused towards eco-friendly makeup, making it yourself. And I noticed that people that wear makeup aren't necessarily eco-friendly. So I got a lot of backlash. Like, people were saying that was not good. So then I redirected my niche to like DIY and sustainability. And that's where I got my audience, was really focusing on the planet.
Right. I mean, they say don't read the comments, but here you read the comments.
Yes.
And it, changed your path. Is it hard to read that sometimes? Was that difficult to see that these people kind of getting this backlash?
I think that at the beginning it was really difficult because I took my makeup as me, and I have to like detach that this is something I made, but they're not attacking me. And I had to learn that these people see 15 seconds of your life and they can judge you. So I try to let that, when a video becomes viral, I don't look at the comments anymore. Only if people that really like you will comment within the first hour. So that's when I would usually, say thank you and stuff like that. But the hate really comes in after, like when it starts to get like 100, 200,000 views, then it starts to roll in. But I'm really good that I have somebody I can talk to about my wellness. In my management, I have a manager that takes care of me. And in the team, I have a guy that talks to me all about mental health.
Got it. Wow. So here you're already at a manager.
Yes.
At what point did that happen? How long into your social media career?
Okay, so I started really to blow up in 2020. And then I think at the end of 2020, I had this management team that wanted to keep me on their roster, but not to manage one-on-one. And I think they started to manage me one-on-one more than 6 months ago now. So each manager has about 5 creators that they really manage one-on-one.
Okay. And they didn't want to manage you one-on-one because at that point?
I think that at that point, they don't see that much lucrative money.
Right.
Like, they want to be able to make sure that each brand deal that you do can generate enough money.
Got it. I love your videos.
Thank you.
I recently saved one of them, I forget. Oh my God, I should have checked right before. I saved one of them. It was, you do like videos about even what to do with like your leftover watermelon rinds.
Yes.
And, like all this stuff.
Yes.
As promised, here's my step-by-step on how I make this Mexican drink called tepache. I put half a cup of brown sugar in a 2-liter jar. Next, I'm placing the skins of 1 pineapple. I like to add ginger and a cinnamon stick and top it off with water.
And I am someone that has a great fear about what the future holds for the world. And so being able to see that anything can go to use somehow, you know, is really, on the one hand, it's really motivating because it gives us the power to do something, even though it's so small. But on the other hand, it is really depressing because you think about all the people that are not doing these things and how, like, even the simplest thing that every person can do that can drastically affect is compost. Like if we all composted, what an enormous difference that would make. Probably not enough, but like it would be huge. So how does that kind of stuff stick with you when you're making these videos?
For me, I get a lot of comments like, well, one person can't change it. It has to be the corporations that change their behaviors. And for me, my reply is always like, one person can influence a big change. So I think that my platform is being able to change one person to change another person. Like it's the whole effect, like the domino effect. So for me, it's kind of sad that you have people like that are really cynical about this. But at the same time, I try not to let it get to me because there's so many. I guess I also surround myself with people that like the environment too. So it does feel like an echo chamber sometimes, but it's nice to be able to have people that care about these things. Right.
What has it been like working with a management company, and how has that affected your career so far as a creator?
I love it because as a content creator, you're always alone. And to have a team, it's like going to work. So every Mondays they have meditation and journaling, and we have to like write our schedule down, like accountability. And every quarterly, my manager meets with me for my goals, and then she's gonna follow up. Like, you said you're gonna do a podcast, where are you at now? So it's really accountability. So I think that's really important as a content creator to have people that are gonna be there and help push you a bit further. It's just a gentle push in the right direction.
Yeah. The rate of burnout in content creators is absolutely insane. And I think that's something that only recently have people really been talking about on their YouTube channels and all that kind of stuff. So to know that the people that are representing you and thus making their money off of your work recognize that that can't be done if you're unhealthy, and that they're giving the tools to not only up your productivity, but to make sure you're happy doing it.
And also my agency is really focused on wellness and eco-friendly creators, sustainability, wellness, and they provide wellness to us.
That's awesome.
So it's nice to have, like, I'm not feeling well. I think I wasn't feeling well because not only of the negative comments, but my mom reads the negative comments and will tell me.
Oh, Mom.
So then I had to talk to the wellness guy to be able to manage this. Like, oh my God. But I told my manager and she's like, okay, well, talk to the guy that's on her team.
Oh, God. So what do parents think now?
So yeah, it was a long process to be able to talk to them again, but we recently reconnected this, I think it was a few months ago.
Wow.
So yeah, it was nice to be able to reconnect with them.
And so what brands have you worked with so far?
I worked with Native deodorant. I worked with Secret deodorant too. Lots of deodorant. I worked with Thinks. It's a period underwear. Ruby Cup is like menstrual cup. So a lot of eco-friendly brands. Trying to think like off the top of my head. Shampoo bars, like different kind of...
And do you, I'm sure you get lots of people reaching out.
Yes.
What kind of, I mean, other than the monetary side of things, what other criteria do you have for someone that you want to have partnered with?
It's something that I would actually use. So not something that I think there was like this fish hot dog that wanted me to do an ad. And I was like, I don't think I would eat a fish hot dog. Yeah. I don't think that would taste very good.
I would. Give me a call.
So something that I would actually like and use, and also something that aligns with my channel. So I wouldn't take something like a fashion brand or something like that.
And not a fish hot dog.
No.
No, that's out of the question. At what point did you start getting brands reaching out to you?
Okay, so at 15,000, I got some people reaching out to give me free product. But at 30,000, I started to monetize.
Got it. Is that bringing in enough at this point for security and growth and all that kind of stuff?
I think that with acting, I didn't see the growth in terms of monetary. Like every year, you may make a lot one year and nothing the next year. So with content creation, I do see a progression, like a way to evolve. And not only through brand deals, but even I have my own business. So that generates another source of income. There's different affiliate links, different kinds of stuff that you can make. I'm planning to write an ebook. So different forms of income that can generate over time.
Got it. You do have your own.
Yes.
You do have your own business. In fact, I got a gift. So this is a chocolate lip balm.
It's cocoa butter. It smells like chocolate. But I like to make my own cosmetics, and that's how I started to branch off selling my own skincare. Awesome. So before I used to make all of like makeup to sell to people, and it was just too much for me to do. So now I have people that manufacture my products, and I have a skincare line called Olona Earth.
Oh, I love it. I also love how that's where you started, and then people gave you negative comments, you moved away with it.
Yeah.
But now that you're at the size that you're at, you've come back and monetized it. And that's awesome.
Actually, people always bought it, even though there's negative, there's a lot of positive too.
Got it.
And I think the negative only is a small percentage.
Yeah.
So I always sold it, but it was just too much for me to make it at home.
Yeah. So you've been doing this for a few years now. For you, what's been the hardest part of being a content creator, and then what's been the most rewarding?
The hardest part is probably feeling guilty when you don't post, because you feel like you have to post, especially with short format. You feel like you have to be there all the time. So that's the hardest part. And the most enjoyable, I wake up and I get to be myself. Like I don't have to dress up for the camera. And if I'm showing a recipe, it's something that I'm cooking for my family. So it's not like, okay, I have to prepare this because I'm shooting a video. It's really my life.
I think what's nice about also having it be your life, not just the eco side of things, but also kind of branching it out because you live your life green, is that I bet you that compared to a lot of other creators, correct me if I'm wrong, but you probably don't feel as boxed in to your topic as some other people do, because you can also show your life and that fits into the brand.
And I think that as you grow as a creator, at the beginning, you should really be niche, but as you grow, people want to know you more. So I've been showing up more like, this is my family, this is what I'm doing this weekend, and people really want to know me more than just my DIYs now.
Right.
So it's fun to be able to, okay, anything can be content at this point. It's fun.
Do you ever feel worried about the breaching into personal life?
Yeah.
And how do you navigate that?
Some people, so my husband and kids don't want to be in my videos, and I respect that. Like there'll be glimpses of them, but it's not going to be like talk on camera. And I respect it because it's my job. But some followers really want to see them. So they're like, why are you hiding your family? Are you embarrassed? I'm like, this is my job. So I think that some followers feel like I'm their friend and I should show everything. But as a content creator, I think that it's important to have things that is private to you too and to your family. I don't want to expose them. And
there's a term, I forget what the term is, but about the effect of feeling like what you're saying, that feeling like you are personally connected with the person that you watch online, because you see them probably every day and sometimes multiple times a day if someone posts that much, that you feel a friendship with that person, which can be fine, you know, but when that when that line starts to get blurred, that's where things get dangerous, and you hear about people showing up at other people's houses and all that kind of stuff. There's a term for that. I don't remember what it is.
Stalker.
Stalker. That's a good one. We'll go with that.
Or a fan. What are they called? Like fan people or fan? But I do get people asking me, where do I live? Like what part of Montreal? And those things like I want to keep private.
Yeah.
And I've had a few videos hit viral about Mauritius. So I've had a lot of people asking like, am I in Mauritius? Can they meet? Like I'll get multiple emails from the same people. Like, I want to meet you now. I want to meet. So it can get like a little bit stressful to see those.
Yeah.
But I had a girl when I was getting my COVID vaccination. She's like, I guess she saw my Medicare card. She's like, oh, Eco-Amical. And I was like, because she had a mask. I'm like, do I know you? Like, people don't call me that. And then she's like, I watch you. Like, I follow you on TikTok, and my son is right beside me. And I'm like, oh, okay, you follow me. And I go, this is my son. And she's like, oh my God, your mom is so cool. My son was so out of it. He's like, what is happening? It was so odd to be called like Eco-Amical.
That's really funny. So you're growing. And like you said, the acting side is you haven't felt that because acting is not a linear growth.
No.
It's very hard. It's very sporadic. Where does acting now fit into your space? Like, are you being able to juggle both at the same time?
Sometimes it could be hard because that I do have a schedule. Like, I block times to do everything that I need for content creation. So when I have an audition, I want to get it off my plate right away. So if I have a voice audition, I'll do it right away. I did tell my agent that I would do mostly Zoom auditions or like voice auditions that are taped, but going into auditions are a bit harder for me at this point.
Do you find that the content creation side is filling in some of the same kind of joy that you got out of acting?
Yes, it's filling so much that I never knew that I could have joy in, like being myself. With acting, I'm not really myself. Only the parts that I got that were really me, like I really like. So yeah, it does fill in the parts where I feel joy to just be myself, not have to get ready to go to work and just show up as me.
All right. So as the channel grows, as all your channels grow, and I think I've seen that you're also on YouTube, active on there now.
Yes.
One day you'll post that video. What are your dreams for what you're building?
I would really like to be a leader in my space, either to talk about reducing waste in the cosmetic industry. So I talk a lot about why I make my own products, why the ingredients are so important for the planet. So just to be a leader in this space and to, just be somebody that people can relate to and feel like they can do this too, that they can reduce waste too, because either I'm like them or they feel connected to me in a certain way. Just connecting with people. That's really important to me.
Would you consider yourself at all like interested in business and business-minded? Has that side been fun for you?
Oh, okay. I never thought that I would have a business because I'm not a organized person. I am not organized. And it has been nice for the content creation. It does feel like a business, that I have a manager to help me streamline me. And my husband has actually been spending a few hours a week helping me with business stuff. But with my cosmetic stuff, I do have a team. So we are, there are 3 other people on the team. Each person has their strength.
Got it. And do you have any business growth ambitions of other things that you would like to launch in the future, or organizations you'd like to start or whatever?
I would like to eventually have a store that sells eco-friendly, like you can buy not just skincare but from me, but things for the kitchen. So I would hope to be able to expand maybe in fashion or in kitchenware, in those kind of stuff. So right now it's skincare. We're looking into getting more into makeup again and just building on the whole thing that we have.
That's awesome. Random side question. Have you been back to Mauritius?
No.
Or been to Mauritius, I should say?
have been to Mauritius when I was about 8 years old.
Okay.
It's quite expensive to go there. I think that it's like $3,000 plane ticket. It's really expensive, but I should go there because I think I have a big fan base in Mauritius, and it would be nice to be able to connect with people over there.
Oh my God, you got like a red carpet greeting.
My parents are like, don't tell them you're going to be there. We're going to be stalked.
Are there any of the kind of like cultural traditions or dishes or anything that have found their way into your life from your parents?
Yes, we eat a lot of curries. So I do like to add spice to my dishes because of my upbringing. I know my husband didn't eat so much spicy until me. And my kids are used to eating that kind of food too because I cook that way. And I think Mauritius is really a fusion of Indian, Chinese, Creole, a bit of everything. So I do mix a lot of Chinese and Indian together. So like noodles, but with curry.
Got it. Sounds delish.
Yummy.
You know, I talked about my fear of the future of the planet. And I know that, again, there's a term for that. I don't remember what the term is.
Eco-anxiety.
Eco-anxiety.
Yes.
There you go. Of course you would know that term. I know a lot of people feel that. What are some things that we can take away from this to either try to live a little bit happier, but also things that that people can be thinking about that maybe if they want to feel more part of the solution?
I think it's hard not to think about what could happen in the future, and people are not really jumping on the wagon to help. But I think the only thing we can really control is what we do. If it's writing letters to people that could make a difference, if it's using our money to buy things, like instead of buying from a brand that's not caring about the environment, taking your money and putting it into a brand that is. So speaking with your money, I guess. And just in general, being able to do things that you can do on a daily, because in the end, it's only what you can do is what you can control, and inspiring people around you so it could have a bigger audience. I inspire my kids. They get to inspire people at school. So that makes me happy.
Yeah. Love it. Christine, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I hope you learned a lot.
I did. And remind us what the name of your company is here.
It's Alona Earth.
Alona Earth. Go check it out. Go hop on all of the socials, links in the description, et cetera, et cetera. What's for dinner tonight?
My husband will cook.
Oh, so it's not going to be spicy.
Not me today.
All right, very good. Thanks so much for watching today's interview. If you want to check out the rest of them, head to the Out of Frame playlist. And if you want to support the channel, make sure you subscribe and like and leave a comment, share with a friend, all the usual stuff. So thanks again, and I'll see you at the next one.